How you doing, buddy?
Good.
It's good to see you. Just got married, huh?
Exactly. Yeah, it's been a while.
Good for you. So we're going to make you better. I know you've been bothered by this redness for so long.
Yeah. Right here, basically here, and there's a small bit up here, but mostly next to the nose. And
it's mostly your cheeks,
yeah.
your nose, a little bit on your forehead,
exactly.
sure. Yeah. And you haven't done anything about it at all?
Not at all.
Not at all. Okay, well. All right, so if you came 25 years ago, we would have used a laser called the pulse dye laser. And it was used to treat redness just like you have. But if I treated you, you would have hated me because you would have walked out of here all black and blue. Right, so we don't want that to happen. So the ideal situation is to treat you without the black and blue, which this laser, which we'll talk about, doesn't leave black and blue. And then the other part about this laser that's so different is more related to what I do. And that is, although the older laser worked, it was powered by a liquid dye. And this was a toxic colored dye. It smelled, it was a mess. And we don't have to do that anymore, so you don't have to worry about the smell and the toxicity of it. And then for us, frankly, it's less expensive because we don't have to keep replacing it. And so this laser we're going to use today is really a brand new one. It's called Advalight. It puts out the same colors as the older pulse dye laser, so it works for this redness. But there's no black and blue, there'll be no smell, no toxicity, and it costs me less money. So it keeps everybody happy. Great. So what this particular laser has in common with the older pulse dye lasers is a wavelength that's just like them. This is 589 nanometers. That's about the only thing this has in common with the older pulse dye lasers. Everything else is truly unique. It's a solid state system. There's no dye involved at all. Not only does it have the 589 nanometer wavelength, but it also has a 1319 nanometer wavelength. It's the only machine that I'm aware of that has both wavelengths in the same system. And they serve very different purposes. The 1319 nanometer wavelength is a heat-based or infrared wavelength, where the 589 is color-based. The 1319 nanometer heat-based infrared wavelength we use for fine lines, skin toning, acne scars, perhaps oily skin, acne, even perhaps dilated pores. And so that is a laser all to itself within the same box as the laser that puts out the 589 nanometer wavelengths. The other nice part about this laser is it has preset pulse durations, energies, fluences for the novice. So for example, if I want to treat rosacea, I'll push the button. Or for more advanced people, and I've been doing this for so many years already, I might push the more advanced button because I can then play with the parameters in regard to how I'm treating the patients. So I have presets both on the 1319 nanometer wavelength side and presets on the 589 nanometer wavelength side. And then I have more advanced settings. So the patient that we're going to treat today has rosacea. So I'll push the preset for rosacea, that kicks in, and then it'll ask me what his skin type is. I know he's roughly type 2, fair skin, and then it gives me suggested parameters, a suggested fluence or energy, a suggested pulse duration. I can then decide, do I want to treat in a square, a line, or a circle? I know he has broad areas, so I'll treat squares. I can scan small scans, or I can scan large areas. I might scan small areas for a small vessel. He has diffuse redness or erythema. I'll do the larger scan. And then I can either have a space between each of the pulses, I can have them touch, or as I like to do to get a better result, I have a little bit of an overlap. So I've set the system up now the way I want to do it. I push the ready button and it is ready to fire. And so we'll bring our patient in. I have my preset parameters. All of that takes literally a minute and a half to do. All right, Charlie, here we go. It should be no real big deal. That's what it's like. So the laser itself puts out sort of yellowish red light, which I can see through my goggles, but there's this green scan that it's going through. And I try to juxtapose each of these boxes. There's no black and blue. How's it feeling?
Feeling a little bit.
But not terrible, right?
No.
It shouldn't be bad. And the whole thing takes all of a couple of minutes. So sometimes we can see a little puff of smoke. It's not a fire, it's the hair. How you doing there?
Good.
So you'll see some improvement really in as soon as about a week. It tends to maximize at about a month, but you'll see a little bit in a week already. And that's the whole deal. I think we made it. How you doing there?
Good.
Good. So how did it feel, Charlie?
Not bad at all.
It's not a big deal, right?
No,
It takes
pretty
all
painless.
a couple of minutes. And you'll see you're flushing a little bit. That's very
Okay.
common from the heat of the laser. maybe a little tingling.
A little bit.
Yeah, the tingling will be gone within an hour, the flushing maybe within an hour or two. And generally, we do these sessions about 3 to 4 weeks apart, and we'll do it again in a month.
Sounds like a plan.
Great.